sucks. Who's with me? Okay, hippies, saying Burning Man. My name's Clifton, and I'm here to change the way you drive, specifically dealing with communication and car signals, turn signals. Yeah. So in 1965, consumer advocate Ralph Nader wrote the book Unsafe at Any Speed, which illustrated the safety hazards of cars like the Chevy Corvair. Look outside on the street today, you're not going to find one. And this pretty much kicked off a pretty big revolution in car safety and made the man a legend. Now we've got another push in automotive design. Alternative fuels, push for lower emission vehicles and hybrid engines. And I think the time is right for yet another change. Today's cars have reverse lights, stop lights, and turn signals, which double as hazards. That's 3 kinds of signals, red, white, and yellow, to illustrate the plethora of actions that we perform while driving. I just don't think that this is enough. To make up for this, a lot of times we have other ways of communicating with people on the road. Now these are great for when the signals we have just don't cut it, or for when they're not appropriate at the time, but I don't think we should rely on these, and I think that we can revamp the lights that we have today. Here are some scenarios where our lights that we have today just don't work sufficiently. What do we do when we're making a lane change versus making a right turn? Or if we're going to make a soft turn versus a heavier turn, a sharper turn? My idea for this is to make a dedicated light for changing lanes, one for a soft turn, one for a hard turn, and one for U-turns. Now I know U-turns are illegal in Oregon, but you all do them, they're a lot of fun, so we need to have a light for them. The problem I see with brake lights is that we only have one kind, and there are different kinds of stopping. We have, if you're tapping the brakes, if you're riding the brakes, or if you're slamming on the brakes to avoid squishing a little kitten to death, only one thing happens with the brake lights. I think that we need a ring that goes around our brake light, so that when we're slamming on it, it flashes rapidly to let people know that you're decelerating fast. And I think the system should actually gauge how fast you're decelerating, not just how fast you're slamming the brakes. The main problem I have, this I think is the most important thing, is that the hazard lights are borrowing from the turn signals, so that when we're using our hazards, we can't also tell people that we're turning or changing lanes. I think, like the brake pedal, the brake light, we need to have 2 different modes. We need to have a ring that goes around the triangle, the universal symbol of hazards, that flashes during a mild hazard, and if something is a little more severe. So, today's horn is loud and abrasive and obnoxious and generally uncalled for, especially when you're arming your alarm. I think that we need maybe a happy horn that slowly fades in and maybe rises in pitch. I did toy with the idea of a straight ahead signal, so when you come to an intersection, this could clear up some confusion, but it only would really work if everybody got in the habit of using these all the time. And that's just not going to happen. So here's what a mess would look like. Keep in mind that only the lights you're using would be visible, so it wouldn't look this colorful all the time. And it could be smaller. This is just me swapping out our car. So this would also call, of course, for a change in the way we control our lights. I think it would be fairly simple. Just separate the turn signals from the headlights and the brights, and I think that it would pretty much solve itself. So why am I expecting people to change the way that they're signaling? One recent poll says that half of American drivers don't even use the one piddly blinker they have. 27% of them say that they're just too lazy to use it. And why would I make you do more unnecessary work? That's what math teachers do. We don't like them. So, well, another poll says that Oregon and Washington drivers are the most knowledgeable in the country. Why, if it's going to start anywhere in America, we should start it right here in the Northwest. Now, a few years ago, instead of just garbage companies, we had recycling companies start popping up all over the country because the people, not the government, demanded it. And if you look at products like the Palm Pilot, we learned a completely new alphabet just to be able to use the Palm Pilot. So I think that as long as we have the social need for change, it's going to happen. I think this is a step toward a future where cars can communicate with each other, and you still use the blinker, but if there's somebody in your blind spot, your car will let you know. I think this is just a step toward that. So thank you very much for listening. And you can go to offsalad.com/ignite to learn a little bit more about it. Thank you. Portland.